Namaskar. Good afternoon, dear students and learners. I am Kusum Prasad and you all are watching us on eVidya channel number 10 and also on our YouTube channel, that is ncertofficial. This is our very special session, Teaching Learning Intervention for Inclusive Classrooms, जिसमें हम बात करते हैं समावेशी शिक्षा की। आप सभी अपने टेलीविज़न स्क्रीन्स पर देख पा रहे हैं हमारे साइन लैंग्वेज इंटरप्रेटर, और इनका नाम है मिस तनीषा। ये पूरे सत्र को साइन लैंग्वेज के माध्यम से बताएंगी। सो डियर स्टूडेंट्स एंड लर्नर्स, दिस इज इंग्लिश सेशन फॉर क्लास 10 स्टूडेंट्स एंड टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड चैप्टर 6, मिजबिल द ऑटर। And to teach this subject, our today's expert is मीनू गुप्ता मैम। वेलकम मैम, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत।
Good afternoon.
Ma'am is mentor teacher from DOE, Directorate of Education. So dear students and learners, you can send your feedback, your queries through our various mediums. You can call us on our phone number, that is 8800440559, and you can also email us on our email ID, that is dth.class10@ciet.nic.in. and apart from this, you can also drop your messages, your questions, your queries on our YouTube channel, that is ncertofficial. And before we begin this session, we want to share a very important information related to G20 presidency. We are proud that India assumed the G20 presidency and will convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country in 2023. A nation deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism, India G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in our history, as it seeks to play a very important role by finding pragmatic global solution for the well-being of all, and in doing so manifest the true spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. So now we begin this session and we move to Meenu Gupta ma'am. Yes ma'am. Ma'am, can you tell us something about the author of this chapter, ma'am?
Of course. So as you can see on your screens, we have the writer of this chapter, Miibil the Ottar, is Gavin Maxwell. Maxwell lived on the west coast of Scotland. He had a dog. When his dog died, he was alone. He felt lonely. He did not want to keep another dog, so he decided to keep an otter. So this chapter is about his journey of adjusting, playing and travelling with Miibil the Ottar from Iraq to London, and how during this journey he develops an inseparable bond with him.
Okay, now let's begin this session and let's move to the chapter Miibil the Ottar.
Of course. So welcome. Today we'll talk about the chapter Miibil the Ottar. The story is about an incredible bond between humans and animals. Like if we have a pet, so there is a bond between humans and animals, and how we can learn from each other. Their experiences, we'll know about their experiences, Miibil's love for water and his playful nature that leads to making new games that leaves everyone amazed. So what we come to know about this chapter is that the otter, which is the pet, is very playful in nature. He is very playful. He enjoys his time creating new games. So the chapter begins in Iraq. Maxwell and his friends went to Basra, a city located in Iraq. So as you can see in the picture, Iraq is a sandy place and there are a lot of marshes. Marshes are like दलदल, जहाँ पे कीचड़ होता है. तो कीचड़ में we can find otters. Otter is an animal that you cannot find everywhere. You find it in marshes और दलदल जिसे आप कहते हैं. So in Basra, Maxwell talked about having an otter as a pet. So his friend gifted him an otter to keep as a pet.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you show us where is Basra, as our students and learners will able to find out, and then that will be easily, they can easily understand, ma'am.
Of course. So if you can see on my screen, there is a map. In the map, on the right hand side, marked is India, where we are now. So green clip, you can see it is India. And if you see to the left, it is a white clip that shows Iraq, and right at the tip of Iraq is Basra.
ओके और स्टूडेंट्स एंड लर्नर्स, आप सभी अपने टेलीविज़न स्क्रीन्स पर देख पा रहे हैं, एंड वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट बासरा. इट इज़ इन ईरान, राइट मैम?
Iraq.
Iraq. So let's move, ma'am. You were telling about the chapter is all about. Can you repeat, ma'am? The students and learners who have joined just now, they will understand easily about this chapter, ma'am.
Of course. So the chapter is about Miibil the Ottar, who was a pet to Maxwell. Maxwell goes to Iraq, where he is gifted an otter by his friend. He names the otter Miibil or Mij. So, like any new animal, Miibil is also very indifferent to the author. Like he is not reacting to anything author says. So moving ahead, knowing about what otter looks like, you can see in the picture on the screen that an otter, it is found in marshes or wet areas near the lakes or rivers or seas. यानी कि जो मैंने अभी आपको कहा, ज़्यादातर otter जो हैं ये दलदल वाले एरिया में पाए जाते हैं और इराक में बहुत ज़्यादा पाए जाते हैं, इसलिए राइटर ने इराक से otter लेने की सोची. देखने में जो ऑटर है आपको एक बहुत सारे एनिमल्स का मिक्स लगता है. आप इसे एक छोटा ड्रैगन भी कह सकते हैं, एक बड़ी स्क्विरल भी कह सकते हैं, या फिर नेवला अगर आपने देखा हो तो आप एक उसे बड़ा नेवला जैसे भी समझ सकते हैं. बिल्कुल नेवले और मोंगूस की तरह इट इज ब्राउन, सॉफ्ट एंड स्मॉल. और क्योंकि ये मार्शेस में पाया जाता है, इसलिए आप देखेंगे कि हमारा जो फोटोग्राफ है, बहुत बार फोटोग्राफ में, क्योंकि ये पानी के आसपास होता है, सो इन अ लॉट ऑफ फोटोग्राफ्स वी कैन सी इट वुड बी लाइक लुकिंग लाइक दिस, लाइक इट हैज सम थॉर्न्स ओवर हिज स्किन. बेसिकली इट इज इट्स वेट फर.
ओके.
सो मूविंग अहेड, तो आपने थोड़ा थोड़ा समझा ऑटर देखने में कैसा लगता है. तो ऐसे एक नए तरह के प्राणी को मैक्सवेल ने एक नया तरह का पेट रखने की सोची. अब नया पेट आ गया, अब नया पेट है तो उसके साथ नए नए खेल भी होंगे, नई नई इंसिडेंट्स भी होंगे. तो अब मैक्सवेल के ऑटर ने क्या किया हम इस चैप्टर में देखेंगे.
ओके मैम.
सो बिकॉज ऑटर इज फ्रॉम वाटर, तो मिजबिल लव्ड वाटर. ही लव्ड स्पेंडिंग अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम इन वाटर. सो what he would do is, if we have a water, you can see on my screen, agar there is water, what he will do is go on in, out, in, out, in, out. So there would be water everywhere. तो सारा टाइम मिजबिल जो है पानी के साथ खेलता रहता था. उसे पानी दिखा नहीं कि उसने पानी बिखेरना शुरू किया नहीं. छोटे बच्चों की तरह बिल्कुल मिजबिल भी वैसे ही बिहेव करता था. ही यूज्ड टू बिहेव द सेम वे. In fact, if he did not find water, he used to open the tap by himself and watch as the water flowed out. He explored and experimented with everything related to water. पानी ग्लास में है, किसी बर्तन में है, टब में है, उसने उस पानी के साथ खेलना ही खेलना है. So he used to play with water everywhere.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, how does Miibil and Maxwell travel to London, ma'am?
So now they were in Iraq. Now author had to go back home. So they have to go back to their own home in London, that is in England. So what does the writer thinks कि सबसे छोटा क्या है? If there is a long distance, what do we take? We take a plane.
Plane.
So the writer decides to take him by plane. But problem. What is the problem?
What is the problem, ma'am?
That all the airlines do not allow pets to travel in the plane with humans. So he found an air flight that allowed pets but in a box.
Okay.
So the problem was that the pet had to be packed in a small box. Ab, if I pack you in a small box, how will you feel?
Very scared.
Very scared and upset. So the writer puts him in a box before the flight so that he gets comfortable. And moment he returns, what happens? He is shocked. As you can see on the screen, the box is totally torn. There is blood around it. The Miibil tears the box, its lining, everything. So the writer had to take Miibil out of the box and keep it with himself. So they get on the flight to London, and again there is a lot of confusion because Miibil is very, what do we know about Miibil? He is very playful. He cannot sit still. So when he enters the flight, Miibil runs away from the author.
Okay.
And goes free in the airplane. So as you can see in the picture, what can you see in the picture? What will people behave if there is some animal around them?
They are scared, they will shout and frightened. मतलब एक बहुत ज़्यादा ही उस जगह पे अफरा तफरी सी मच गई.
बिल्कुल, exactly, अफरा तफरी. इंग्लिश में इसे कहते हैं chaos. तो जैसे ही ऑटर मैक्सवेल से भागा, सारे फ्लाइट में अफरा तफरी मच गई. देयर वॉज क्योस. एवरीबडी स्टार्टेड शाउटिंग, जंपिंग, रनिंग हियर एंड देयर. सो देयर वॉज अ टोटल कंफ्यूजन इन द फ्लाइट. सो हु हेल्प्ड मैक्सवेल? देयर वॉज अ एयर होस्टेस who helped Maxwell. So in flights there are air hostesses who help people in making the journey comfortable. So in the same way, Maxwell is helped by an air hostess who advises him to keep the otter on his knee. and eventually they reach London.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, can you show to our student this how they travel to London on map?
Of course. So, as you can see on the screen, earlier they were at Basra, which is this white clip. They travel via airplane to another white clip, that is London. This yellow clip is Scotland, from initially where the writer was, but writer had two homes, one in Scotland and one in London, which are both nearby only. But the distance from Iraq to London is very long. So, that is why author had to take a plane from Iraq to London. So, in London, it is not that Miibil was any way upset in London, no, he was happy there. He quickly adapted and developed new games. As you can see in the picture, he used to love playing with ping pong balls and marbles. What he used to do is, he used to take the balls and play with his paws, like our hands, he used to play with his paws, and or there was a broken suitcase of the writer, he used to climb in the suitcase and peep like a small baby, like children play hide and seek. Similarly, Miibil also played hide and seek or with a ball. So, he used to play with a ball like this or with his nose like this, or he used to look from the suitcase and play with the writer. And as we all know, we cannot keep the pets inside, so they used to go on walks. The writer used to take him on the walk, and when everybody saw otter, because it was a new animal, nobody knew what an otter looked like. So, they used to make guesses, which animal is it? Some called it a baby seal, some called it a squirrel, hippo, dinosaur. There were many reactions to what Miibil was.
Yes, ma'am, because they were not, they were unfamiliar about this
बिल्कुल.
animal and they were not able to recognize with any other animal.
Yes, जैसे हमने भी अगर ऑटर नहीं देखा है तो हम उसे उसी से कंपेयर करेंगे जो हमने देखा है. लाइक अगर मैंने उस मोंगूज यानी कि नेवला देखा है तो मैं उसे नेवले से कंपेयर करूंगी. अगर मैंने जो है एक स्क्विरल देखा है तो मैं कहूँगी स्क्विरल का एक थोड़ा बड़ा वर्जन, स्क्विरल से बड़ा होता है, तो वैसे वो है. और तो और ही हैड अ वेरी डिफरेंट साउंड, इवन द साउंड ही मेड, आई विल शो यू द साउंड.
हम ये सुन पा रहे हैं साउंड, और जैसे कि आपने बताया हमने साउंड भी सुनी, और ये जैसे इसमें भी मेंशन है कि सील की तरह लगता है और एक बड़ा स्क्विरल.
बिल्कुल
जी.
तो ऐसे में कोई भी सही गैस नहीं कर पा रहा था कि व्हाट मिibil was. But writer says most shocking reaction came from a laborer who was digging a hole near author's house. He asked the author, what is that supposed to be?
So, according to that laborer, what it looks like, ma'am?
No, that is not the answer. The laborer was so surprised to see Miibil that he did not even guess what animal it was.
Okay.
He was actually asking the author, what is this animal supposed to be? Where did you get him from?
Okay. So, we move
So this is the end of the chapter. So, let us try and answer two questions from the chapter. So, it is like sort of a comprehension check. The writer got the otter in Scotland. Iraq, London, India. What do you think is the answer?
Scotland?
No.
Iraq, I think.
Iraq, exactly. So, author got the otter in Iraq.
Because I was confused because writer was living in Scotland and he was
Exactly.
second home was Iraq, ma'am.
Exactly. So, let us just recall what we have done in the chapter. As you can see the map on the screen, chapter, this is the yellow clip, this is where the writer was initially living.
Scotland.
Exactly, Scotland. He goes to Iraq, he buys Miibil there. So, we have a Miibil here.
Okay.
Okay. Then he travels to London, where he has his second house. So, the writer was rich. He had two homes, one in Scotland and one in London. So, Miibil also had fun. He travelled from Iraq to London, where he enjoyed a lot. Okay. Second question. In the beginning, the otter was indifferent, hostile, friendly, curious.
Indifferent?
Exactly, indifferent, because he did not know the writer. And if you meet new people, you don't know how to react. Similarly, the otter also did not know how to react. So, one way the teacher can help the students understand the places is through a map where there are pins attached. She can use a thumb pin, she can use a paper clip, whichever will not hurt the child. Another way is, if we see this is a world map and there are a few dots. The first dot is where we are in Delhi. Second dot is where Iraq is, where the writer finds the otter or Miibil. Third dot is London. So, this is something the students can touch. Another thing is, if you can touch, these are all the boundaries of the countries are tactile. They are all punched with holes like braille. So, the students who want to enjoy or know about through touching, they can touch this map and learn about it. So, as you can see, if you see on the screen, it is looking very near because we have the whole world on this small screen. But if we have to travel, this is more than 5,000 miles. Delhi to Iraq is 5,000 miles. And then Iraq to London is again more than 6,000 miles. So, it is very, very far away. That is why the writer had to take a plane.
Okay, ma'am. Now, we move to the homework, ma'am.
So, okay. So, in your homework, because our main character is Miibil, so we will try and write a paragraph about Miibil the Ottar. And there are a few hints that are given in the screen itself. You can use these hints and write about the character. And as you know, in the exam, a character sketch comes for about 100 words. So, you have to give an example also. Like if you can say it was not an ordinary pet. So, you have to write that usually people keep a dog or a cat as a pet. So, it was a very different animal. So, you have to give example with each character you are using. And then we have another homework, modified homework for our children with special needs. The question is, have you or anyone around you ever have a pet? Write a few lines about it. So, what can we write about the pet? You can write the name of the pet. You can write which animal it is, how did it look,
the features about that animal,
and most important, what are the activities you did together? Because if you have pet, you spend time with the pet. So what did you do together? You played, you walked, there were some special games you played. So you have to write about that.
So this was homework and modified homework, and now we will tell you about the format. How you can send you can write in this according to this format. You can write your name, school name and address. You can mention the date of the today's session and the name of the expert, Meenu Gupta ma'am, and you can also attach a photograph. It's optional, and you can send this and you can email us on our email ID, that is dth.class10@ciet.nic.in.
And before we leave, if you want, you can even speak about this. If you are not comfortable writing about it, you can talk about your pet also.
Exactly. So dear students and learners, जो हमने एक्टिविटीज़ मैम ने बताई हैं, आप उसे सेंड भी कर सकते हैं, आप अपनी एक ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग भी भेज सकते हैं, वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग भेज सकते हैं, और हमने तरीका भी बताया. तो मैम आप यहाँ आए, आपने बहुत अच्छे से इस सेशन को बताया. थैंक यू सो वेरी मच मैम. नमस्कार.
थैंक यू.
और हम धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे हमारे साइन लैंग्वेज इंटरप्रेटर तनीषा जी का भी. आपका भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Dear students and learners, before we wind up, we want to share a very important information related to NCERT textbooks. NCERT textbooks for 2023-24 are available throughout the country, and these books may be purchased directly from the sale counters located at New Delhi, Ahmedabad, Kolkata, Guwahati. And these sale counters will be functional on all the days included gazetted holidays, Saturdays, Sundays from 9:30 AM to 6 PM. And you may also place order for the books online from our website ncertbooks.ncert.gov.in, and these books will be delivered at your doorstep without any extra delivery charges. And if you want a soft copy of the books in PDF version, you can also download it for free from Diksha, NCERT ePathshala and mobile app. So dear students and learners, please visit the website ncert.nic.in to know more about the authorized vendor. और इसी के साथ हमारा आज का ये जो सेशन था, ये सत्र था, टीचिंग लर्निंग इंटरवेंशन फॉर इंक्लूसिव क्लासरूम्स का, हम यहीं संपन्न करना चाहेंगे. लेकिन आप ज़रूर जुड़े रहिए eVidya चैनल से, देखते रहिए हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल NCERT ऑफिशियल. अपना ख्याल रखिए और हमें दीजिए इजाज़त. नमस्कार.